Welcome back from the break, and in news from around the world, the UK Supreme Court ruled today that Prime Minister Boris Johnson acted unlawfully when he suspended Parliament for 5 weeks in the lead-up to the Brexit. And now we have a report.
This court has already concluded that the Prime Minister's advice to Her Majesty was unlawful, void and of no effect. This means that the order in Council to which it led was also unlawful, void and of no effect and should be quashed. This means that when the Royal Commissioners walked into the House of Lords, it was as if they had walked in with a blank sheet of paper. The prorogation was also void and of no effect.
The verdict was announced by the court's president, Lady Hale, in London on Tuesday. She also said that according to the anonymous verdict of all 11 justices, Parliament had not been suspended and that the decision was void and of no effect. It is for Parliament and the Speaker and the Lord Speaker to decide what to do next. Unless there is some parliamentary rule of which we are unaware, they can take immediate steps to enable each house to meet as soon as possible.
Also, Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam today voiced her support for Hong Kong police while speaking to the press and answering questions on police violence in the Chinese Special Administrative Region. We have that report.
Lam began saying that Hong Kong is proud of their support of the rule of law and that enforcement by the enforcement agencies, particularly the police, is one of the very important elements to ensure the rule of law in Hong Kong, saying, however, it does not mean that he condones irregularities or wrong practices done by the police force.
But it would be very difficult for me as a chief executive to offer my own opinion on individual video footage or shots to determine what is right, what is wrong, what is true, what is fake, because there has been so far always different versions to the same incident. So my advice and my appeal is for those affected individuals to come forward to provide a side of the story and to be undertaken in a fair and impartial manner.
Protests have been taking place in Hong Kong since the end of March, when the Hong Kong legislature proposed a bill which would allow the extradition of the city's residents to mainland China.
And away from the news, let's have In Business.
In business today, experts say that Skilling Uganda program has failed to deliver the intended results of equipping its population with the necessary employable skills and competences required in the labor market to reduce unemployment rates. Enterprise Uganda Executive Director Charles Ochichi said that while the program sought to fill the existing gap, where the country was producing graduates with no practical skills, it needs to be redesigned to produce the required results. He was speaking on the sidelines of a one-week basic enterprise startup tools training organized for Kayunga district within Tanjero North Member of Parliament Amos Ugolobi. Ochichi urged the people championing the program to assess the various skills to identify those that are overflooded and those that still need people to direct their energies and resources appropriately. The Uganda Free Zones Authority has issued the first free zone blockchain developers license as the country races to harness technological innovations to create jobs, increase production and strengthen the economy. According to Uganda Free Zones Authority, the blockchain free zone will focus on emerging technologies as well as facilitate software innovation and production for big data, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, machine learning, robotics, and 5G technologies. While handing over the certificate to blockchain crypto Savannah Technologies, Uganda Free Zones Authority's Acting Executive Director Samuel Kasule said the Free Zone will create an environment where digital innovations can be set up, tested, and commercialized. He said Uganda, being the first in Africa to issue a blockchain developer's license, has positioned itself as a continental leader in the adoption of the fourth industrial revolution technology and spearheading investment. A free zone is a special designated area where goods introduced into the area are generally regarded, so far as import duties are concerned, as being outside the customs territory. These include export processing zones or free port zones.
Thank you, Lynn, for the in-business news in our special report today. If there's any place where security forces have deployed heavily, it is in the border industry. Heads of security agencies have admitted working with border riders to fight crime. However, the riders have been haunted by these crimes either by falling victims to them or as suspects. New Vision TV looks at the challenges in the border sector and why regulation has been very hard. Nora Mutesi has the details.
If there is any place where security forces have deployed heavily in Uganda, it is the border industry, Butambala MP Mwanga Chivumbi told Parliament last month. But why is it the same sector, which is full of intelligence operatives, that have most cases of murder? Heads of security agencies have admitted working with border riders to fight crime. However, the crimes still haunt the riders, either as victims or suspects. The issue of border transport sector has become a matter of concern to every Ugandan. But not only for the matter of the riders, which puzzled Parliament mid-last month when Ngola MP David Abala tabled a motion calling for the regulation of the industry. Our inquiries at Parliament this weekend established that the legal department is busy examining the law to advise on the way forward with the Abala motion. The motion is intended to provide a framework for bringing order in the now critical border industry that possibly moves more passengers than any other motorized transport means in the country. The disorganization in the country has for long been of great concern because of the high-profile murders committed using motorbikes that even elicited a presidential directive to register all borders electronically for easier tracking. But like the other initiatives and attempts to have borders registered in whatever rudimentary form which failed, the president's directive is also yet to be implemented, partly due to financial constraints. President Yoweri Museveni gave the directive last year following a string of murders executed by motorbike riding killers spanning 3 years, in which dozens of lives lost included Muslim clerics, Police spokesman Assistant Inspector General of Police Andrew Felix Kawesi, and a popular police buster Assistant Superintendent Mohamed Chirumira. The pleas for some order to be established in the border industry, surprisingly, also come from the very people the public looks up to for the answers. The Police Director of Traffic and Road Safety, Dr. Stephen Kasima, had a month before Abala tabled his motion, cried to Parliament's Infrastructure Committee over the matter. While different players see the mess in the border industry from different angles, we talked to the cyclists who should know where it hurts most.
People wake up in the morning and they are like they should get into riding border. But none of the stakeholders even know the number of the cyclists who operate in Kampala. Border riders are arrested by police over third-party insurance or riding permit. And they just pay money, get released, and are back on the road without those requirements for which they were apprehended.
These riders say sometimes their motorcycles are impounded by the police for no genuine reason, but because they want to get money from them. They ask between shillings 40,000 and 50,000 for some to have their borders back. Besides police officers who collect hefty sums of money from the unregulated industry, other fingers are pointing at spare parts dealers also as big beneficiaries of the confusion. Now, in our second part, we bring you the comments of leaders and what should be done to regulate the boda industry. Nora Mutesi.
And that was New Vision TV. Thanks for watching. I'm Lydia Lakwonyero. We'll catch you next time. And now I'll leave you with the fact file.
I started farming when I was still young. My mother was a fabulous woman. She is my hero.
We have partnered with Food and Trees for Africa to be our implementing partner. What Food and Trees for Africa does is to teach them